Hey, everybody, welcome back. My name is Jan, and I'm a video game vocalist and a video game concert producer. And we are back with another reaction video. Thank you all so much for the love you've been pouring on my reaction videos of the Clair Obscur titles. I've been really happy to read all of them. You guys are so many to comment on my videos, and I'm always really pretty moved. A lot of you are French speaking, and I feel like these videos have been assembling all these French speakers. So it's been really fun to read your comments in English and in French. Je vais aussi prendre un petit peu ce moment pour de nouveau vous remercier pour tous les commentaires que vous avez laissés sur mes vidéos. Je suis toujours très contente de vous lire. Vous êtes tellement nombreux, mais c'est tellement cool. J'ai déjà mentionné ça dans mes commentaires. Normalement, j'ai l'habitude de plutôt parler en anglais, surtout pour mes clips, surtout en ligne sur mes réseaux sociaux. D'ailleurs, vous pouvez me suivre. À la base, je vis en Suisse et je vis dans la partie francophone, en Suisse romandie. Venant d'une famille anglophone, j'ai souvent eu des difficultés à m'exprimer en français, surtout à l'école. J'ai été souvent reprochée pour avoir des difficultés. Ça a eu énormément d'impact, non seulement dans ma vie personnelle, mais aussi sur ma carrière. Donc, du coup, c'est pour ça que j'ai souvent beaucoup d'hésitation à m'exprimer en français. Et puis, l'anglais, c'est ma langue maternelle. Donc, du coup, ça me fait vraiment énormément de plaisir de vous lire tous, d'entendre que vous trouvez que mon français est assez bien. Donc, quand je dis ça me touche, c'est pour des bonnes raisons. Donc, je vous remercie du fond de mon cœur. So, today we are going to be reacting to Maelle, the official music video. What I'm also going to do after that is I am going to be reacting to the Konbini interview that was done with Lorien, Alice duport-percier, and Daniel Sicard. As you can tell, I'm really excited because some of you guys commented saying that there was this interview that was released and that kind of like talks a little bit more about the production behind these music videos. And so I want to react to Maelle first, and then I want to react to, how the production was done. Hopefully we'll get more information about that in that interview. And then offer some insights from someone who not only, is a video game vocalist, who is not only a concert producer, but who has actually a background as in video production. While I was in university, I actually worked on a lot of video projects. And that is actually in big thanks to my video production teacher. His name is Keith Strandberg. So Keith was my video production teacher and my script writing teacher. And he's actually he worked on a lot of martial arts movies. He started out with, being a script writer for this movie called No Retreat, No Surrender, which is like the first movie in which Jean-Claude Van Damme worked on. It was like his first acting gig, basically. And Keith was one of the 5 people who selected him for the movie, from what I hear. And so a lot of what I do actually on YouTube comes from him. So there's a lot of love that goes towards Keith, in that sense. So as a result of his background in filmmaking, he would involve me in some of his projects, and he would also put me in touch with people who had these projects going on. So I would work on short film projects or music video projects as a production assistant, sometimes as a camera operator. And then it got to a point where sometimes I would work on my own project as a director and manage some music video projects for other people or other organizations. So that's why I do have quite a bit of experience and knowledge when it comes to filmmaking. And this is something that I have, used time and time again, whether it's for my music video productions, for any other video productions, or even for some of the filmmaking camps that I would run like years ago in some, private schools, basically. Anyway, long story short, I love video game music. I love film production. And when both of them have a baby, you bet I am going to pick on every detail that I can see because I absolutely love the creative process and what could happen behind the scenes because of my background in filmmaking. So, you all know what comes next. Grab your favorite drink. I've got some multivitamin juice in my World of Warcraft 20th anniversary mug. We sold these at the World of Warcraft concerts. It has a special place in my heart for obvious reasons. Grab your favorite drink and let's dive right into Maelle by Lorien Tester. Oh, what?
Je t'aimerai toujours, je rêverai encore.
Wait a second.
Pleurerai encore, aimer, oublier et rêver.
Okay, let's just stop right here. Okay, I had to hold on. Okay, there's a lot going on right there. So, okay, wow. First impression, wow, this is so beautiful. I was genuinely surprised because the first couple of notes playing on the keys, I'm like, wait a second, this is Alicia. And then when Alice starts singing, Alice duport-percier, back again with her amazing vocals. When she starts singing, she sings in French. And it's strange, a little bit bizarre because the feeling is different. I can't explain it. Something is so different about this song. I think maybe because, in Alicia, because the listener can't really understand the words, they can interpret their own meaning of that song. Now, in the case of Maelle, there are some actual lyrics in French, and I was able to understand a little bit of that. Just like in Alicia, we have the same sort of we have the exact same structure, but we have now lyrics in French. So let me read this to you. Je t'aimerai toujours, je rêverai encore, pleurerai encore, aimer, oublier et rêver, pleurerai pour toi. I knew I picked up on some of them. Maelle a une vie à peindre, douce étoile effacée. Alicia a une vie à peindre, verso dans la nuit, lune près de lui. Wow. As some of you know, I haven't played the game yet, and I will at some point. But it is really interesting because I'm starting to kind of like make some connections between the songs, which is super, super fascinating. Let me just quickly translate the lyrics. So, I will always love you. I'll always dream. I'll cry even more. Loving, forgetting, and dreaming. Crying for you. And then in the chorus, Maelle has a life to paint. Soft star erased. Alicia has a life to paint, verso in the night with moon close to him. I do remember hearing that Lune is a character, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, so that's all I pretty much know. It is so beautiful. Like, I love already the first verse. You know, even though I do not have the full context, there is something about the verse that is so, so beautiful. And that is related to the simplicity of the words, but the strength that they imply in the meaning that they have. French songwriting has always been so very melodic to me. What I find so interesting about the verse is that this person is talking about loving, dreaming, and crying. You have like the first 3 sentences, right? That is actually repeated again afterwards, but it's repeated in a very different way. Because again, we have I'll always love you, I'll still dream, and I'll still cry, basically. And then it's repeated again in the second part of the verse, but in between, there's the term forgotten. Loving, forgetting, dreaming, and crying for you. So there is some sort of like a progression that is going on. Something about the story that I don't know about, but a person who's talking about someone else, you know, that you know, she has feelings for him, she'll dream and she'll cry. And then it's a repeated process, but that implies something being forgotten. So this is like super fascinating. And then in the chorus, we have Maelle and Alicia, 2 female characters that are, I think, very important to the story. Maelle a une vie à peindre, 12 étoiles effacées. It's fascinating because for me it sounds like Maelle is very, very precious and has something very, maybe something even innocent about her, I would almost assume. Like she is a star, like a soft star, but that has been erased. Did I just spoil myself? Oh no. That's what I get for, you know, analyzing songs before playing the game. And then you have Alicia, who clearly has a connection with Verso and Lune. And the thing is, Alicia and Maelle both it implies some sort of like painting, you know? But I am curious to know if the term painting is used in the same fashion here. Like perhaps Maelle has a different way of painting, not in the literal sense. It could be also in a metaphorical sense, whatever that could mean. And Alicia, I mean, we're talking about une vie à peindre. And actually, come to think of it, like one of my upcoming reactions is going to be the analysis of une vie à peindre. So I feel like something is going to click a lot. All right, so let's talk about video production. First of all, I am a huge fan of how creative the film crew got with all of these music videos. Because here we're having just the dancer, like a dancer who is communicating a lot. You know, she doesn't say anything, but the movements, the gestures, the things that she does, they communicate something. First, like you start the video where she looks, you know, kind of a little bit innocent, like picking at the white rose. And by the way, we'll get to that white rose situation in a bit. Picking on the white rose. And then, you know, then she goes on dancing. But notice how she looks, you know, at the start of the video. Really looking kind of like innocent, right? And then when she goes to when she starts dancing, it's almost as if some kind of like pain starts to sneak in, some sort of like melancholy, and it kind of like absorbs or takes away the happiness that she's feeling. Because at that one shot, you see her eyes are wide with some sort of like, either like sadness or desperation. And I love this. The fact that they even use a dancer. Like, I can't dance, right? I love to dance. I can't dance. But dancing is such an incredible art form as well, and can be used to communicate feelings and emotions through a performance. So this is really, really super fascinating. And again, the lighting is so gorgeous. I'll talk more about some of the lighting techniques that they used in this music video, because there's like so much to unravel that I love this. But let's just dive right back into the music video and see what happens next. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Okay, give me one moment. Wow. Wow. Guys, can we not take a moment to just give a huge shout out to the film crew and to this incredible dancer? Oh, I love this. I love this. Time and time again, Sandfall Interactive and the film crew have, and Lorien and Alice duport-percier, Daniel Sicard, the whole lot, basically, time and time again, they have shown us that passion takes precedence over everything. Everything, gosh. I love this. And I felt quite a bit choked up at the end, because the movements of the dancer, the combination of the dance performance with the lyrics, they are so in sync with each other. And this is, I love to see how we can take creativity and passion and see where that gets us, when we work on projects. Let's talk about audio. From beginning to end, it is Alicia, but I find it absolutely fascinating and interesting to see how, different that version can be, that Maelle's version can be to Alicia. And we are clearly talking about, these two characters, they are clearly similar. They have a connection. They have a very strong connection. But where you have Alicia, that feels like, the song Alicia feels like a song that it is open to interpretation. So you could understand it any way you wanted. But in the case of Maelle, the song Maelle, they tell you the things as they are. So we have this sort of two different versions that are similar but still completely different, and they communicate different things, almost different realities. It's I love this. I love this. This is where you can take like songwriting and you can flip it on its head. Now, seriously, guys, I really love this. I can't hide this joy I am feeling regarding the songwriting, regarding the video production, the performance of the dancer. It's just, and guys, I can't hide my excitement. I don't think I've ever seen a video game company that like fully goes all out creatively speaking, and that they push and push and push, and they let their creativity and their passion go all out. Basically, it's just like, I love this. Okay, so let's just quickly come back to the music video, right? Like in my mind, I'm speculating that this dancer might be like some sort of like an antagonist or something like that. I don't know. Because, the rose, I know what the rose represents. Given what I've heard about the context of those white roses, like the fact that they represent this age group, we have this dancer who's picking at the roses, but she's doing it in almost kind of like an innocent sort of fashion, or like without a care in the world, maybe more like that. So she's picking at it without a care in the world. So that's why I'm getting this sort of almost kind of like, I'm like almost thinking like this antagonist sort of feeling. Like she's like, this dancer is very beautiful, but I'm getting the feeling that she is not what she seems, basically. So, and then as you continue on, she's picking at those roses and just kind of dropping that, and she's starting to dance, and her movements are very specific. They sort of like kind of like convey this sort of like almost like freedom to move around. This kind of like, like when she starts dancing, especially in the chorus, it's like, it's someone who is like, in French, we have this term called mouvementé, someone who is very tumultuous, almost kind of like, tumultuous. We have like, she's very mouvementé, very tumultuous, like in her performance. And then at some point, she kind of like a little bit calms down, and she's just staring at the camera. She's staring at your soul. When she does that, there's like this, her look is sad, like she's moving all around and she's happy to move around. But like when she kind of like, when she slows down as if like she's trying to almost come back to reality, she looks into the camera and you can see that there's this deep sadness in her, basically. And she's grabbing her head, as if to signal the fact that she's maybe going crazy. Like the sadness is driving her mad, basically. Maybe she's mad with grief or something like that, mad with melancholy. And sometimes when she's dancing, she's like staring off into the distance. And the way she dances, like she's dancing in circles with arms that are kind of like flailing, almost as if to indicate that there is a cycle going on, that maybe there's this perpetual cycle that she's experiencing, where it's like a mix between, like being very tumultuous and very, not enjoying what she does, but like doing things and not really caring about it and just basically living, I guess. And then sometimes just grinding to a halt, and then just kind of like realizing the, like, maybe realizing that there's something deeply wrong with what's going on, maybe deeply wrong with her. And then in the second chorus, the way she moves, it's also even more intense, and she's grabbing onto something. No, in the first chorus, she's just kind of like moving around, kind of like almost kind of like going with the flow. But in the second one, and that's also very interesting. That is also, oh, wow. I'm loving picking up on these kind of details. In the second chorus, you're seeing that the dancer is trying to hold on, to grab onto something, to hold on to something. Also, there are some moments where, in the second chorus, she also not only just kind of like moves around a lot more. She also moves towards the camera and then backs away and then comes again, and then almost kind of like she does this sort of movement where she kind of like pulls her hair back as if, and then there's this sort of like this expression on her face that shows a lot of lot of agitation or melancholy or despair. I don't know what this exact emotion is, but she is kind of like, she feels desperate, and then she's holding onto herself, like holding, she's almost as if she's longing for comfort, but she's only got herself. And then as she kind of like backs away, she's not moving anymore. Her head is tilted up, and maybe she realizes that damage has been caused, probably by her. And then she sinks down, holds her arms, and then kind of goes into this sort of like upright fetal position, basically. Almost as if to show that she is sad and even crying, actually. Now, so let's try to piece it together with the lyrics, okay? So in the first verse, you see the person picking the rose. And as she's doing that, she's talking about love, dreams, and crying, and forgetting, right? And it's really important to remember these points because they are going to be important for the next parts of this song. Because in the first chorus, you have this dancer who's starting who is very kind of like, moving around, dancing around, almost kind of like with arms a little bit flailing around, and also the way she does it, like, with how she moves exactly, with her hands, like almost this kind of like very gracefully moving. It's in this sort of like this very tumultuous dance that we talk about, all the characters. So in the chorus, there are certain movements that are done for the characters, basically. So when we talk about Maelle in the chorus, actually the dancer is very, very tumultuous, like going around, like really kind of like in circles. When we come to Alicia, the dancer actually kind of like slows down and becomes actually a little bit even more graceful. And then, when we stop at Alicia a une vie à peindre, when we come to à peindre, we actually have the face of the dancer that is kind of like showing these emotions. When we talk about verso, she's grabbing her hair. And then when we talk about lune, she is kind of like looking off in the distance. Did you guys pick up on that? This is, you know what? I am going to come back to this video when I play the game. Wow. Yeah. Now I'm excited to play the game. So we transition to this instrumental where the dancer, she just like dances like almost kind of like, yeah, in circles in a very wild fashion. And the camera is always out of focus. But it's interesting because in the instrumental, she looks a little bit more like she's smiling a lot more. In the instrumental, it feels like more, almost a little bit more joyous, almost a little bit more innocent. When we get back to the chorus, again, the same sort of tumultuous dancing. And then when we get, oh, wait, the grabbing part. That's something I want to check quickly. Yes. So basically, in the second chorus, it is Maelle. When we talk about Maelle, the dancer is trying to reach and grab onto something. So, like, not just once, but many, many times, actually. So, what does that indicate? I wonder. When we talk about Alicia in the second chorus, she is kind of like moving towards the camera, then backing away, then moving forward again. And then this sort of like this need for having comfort, So it's like so fascinating. Like, what is going on? What is going on? And then right after in the verso and lune part, like clearly these two are together and there is something tragic. There is definitely something tragic. There is something tragic. Oh my gosh. I get the feeling that I'm going to really cry about it. Oh no. I guess I'll have to play the game to find out, So what the heck? This production is so amazing. When it ends like this, actually, come to think of it, that fetal position does remind me of the Clair Obscur cover art, where you see like this person, this woman with long hair in the distance, kind of like sitting down, basically. So yeah, I'm so curious about what that means, what's going on, basically. Like, what? I know I tried to relate the music with the performance, and I find it absolutely beautiful and so mesmerizing. This dancer, she is so talented. Let's just look up her name very quickly. So the dancer is, there we go. Charlotte Höpfner, Maelle performance and motion actress. Okay, so that makes more sense. The motion actress for Maelle is the dancer. Now that is cool. That is really cool. You know what? It makes a lot of sense because, when you're dancing, you have to really also know how to communicate emotions. And, dancers, they tend to know how to do that with the movement, but sometimes they look quite stoic in their face, basically. But in the case of Charlotte, emotions were really, really on point. This is so awesome. Oh my gosh. I really, really love how they went all out with this. This is so cool. Okay, so let me just quickly take a moment to talk about the lighting. With this music video, we start kind of like with a blurry shot, like a blurry opening shot, which we call the either like a defocus or soft focus shot. And again, this is one continuous shot once again. And it is not easy to pull this off, as I mentioned in my other video, Until Next Life. The huge challenge with this kind of music video, especially with a dancer, is the focus. Because you will have a lot of challenges in terms of keeping your subject in focus. So the subject is the dancer. But sometimes it was, in the beginning, you had either the dancer that was in focus or the rose, Now, it gets even more challenging because she's moving around and the camera operator has to constantly adjust the focus. The camera operator, he did an excellent job, like at that one moment where this Charlotte is like just staring into the camera. It's such a beautiful shot. Okay, just give me one moment because we're going to get to a point where I love to pick up on these little details. I am so nitpicky. Like my attention to detail is very, very annoying at times. So at some point, the dancer will turn around and up. Hello there. What do you bet? This is either Daniel Sicard or Guillaume Broche. There's something about the hair, and this guy clearly has a beard, so I know I'm super annoying with this, but it's always kind of, I think it's always kind of fun to kind of like pick up on these details. I definitely think it wasn't intentional in this shot. So So I guess whoever's in this shot has a surprise cameo, and I'm hoping that we find out who it is one of these days. So I'll always kind of like be nitpicky about that. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm sorry, Sandfall Interactive. The lighting techniques that I wanted to talk about relates to the position of the camera and the position of those lights. Let me explain. So depending on the angle of the camera and the direction of the light, you can create this sort of really incredible looking dream-like effect in your shot. Meaning that when normally like the background is black, instead you'll have this sort of like a more white-ish, grayish sort of color that adds to it. And that's due to the lighting that hits the lens of the camera in a certain way. So it creates this sort of really, really cool effect. And this is something I love so much, and I use it constantly in my music videos. I'll kind of like show a few examples once again, but it is used a lot in storytelling, especially when trying to emulate this sort of like dreamlike sequence. And honestly, in this music video, sometimes it feels like you're looking at some sort of like a dream, you know? So it's really, really, really cool. Okay, so now that we've looked at the music video, which was so gorgeous, I want to actually quickly look at the interview that is done with Lorien, Alice duport-percier, and Daniel Sicard. I will definitely appreciate looking at that interview and understanding the process, especially that went into making those music videos. So let's dive right in, shall we? We're not going to look at the whole thing, but I think I will kind of like share the parts where I felt are really, really important to take into account.
On a beaucoup de chansons en français, on a quelques chansons en anglais et on a aussi des chansons dans une langue qu'on a inventée pour le jeu. Enfin, toutes ces langues se jouent à différents endroits de l'OST en fonction de l'importance et du rôle qu'on voulait donner à ces morceaux-là. Donc par exemple, on a des morceaux très clairs et limpides dans les paroles qui vont plutôt être vers la fin du jeu pour pas spoiler le joueur, alors que les morceaux qu'on découvre au début du jeu, comme Alicia qui est le main theme, il est dans une langue inventée et le joueur va devoir terminer l'aventure pour comprendre le sens de ses paroles. Donc le langage inventé, c'est important, je trouve, pour donner un côté un petit peu universel à la musique, pour que tous les pays du monde puissent retrouver des sonorités et retrouver des sons qu'ils ont déjà entendus mais qu'ils n'arrivent pas à situer. Et en même temps, c'est important pour camoufler un petit peu le lore et pas le donner trop vite.
Alors disons que la session studio était longue et qu'on a,
moi, quand je suis fatiguée,
on a passé des moments douloureux en cette fin de session. Voilà. En fait, dans cette session d'enregistrement, il y a eu aussi tout l'aspect réalisation des clips. Et je sais pas si c'est pour ça, mais de base, j'ai toujours eu un petit crush sur Until Next Life. C'est une musique très simple au coin du feu. Enfin, moi, je l'interprète comme ça. Je suis pas encore arrivé à cet endroit-là dans le jeu, mais et en fait, I'm a simple man, j'ai envie de dire. C'est simple, c'est beau. Et moi, j'adore arranger ce genre de musique. Et en plus, on l'a fait en plan séquence. Et ça, c'était.
On a eu.
I'm just going to comment on what he just said right now about the simplicity. Sometimes when things are so simple, they tend to be the most effective and sometimes even the most pleasing. And I think there is a lot of beauty that comes from simplicity as well. So I don't know if that's what he meant, but it's, you know, everybody, it's up to everybody's own interpretation. But like there is something beautiful with something that is simple. So yeah, let's keep on going.
C'est incroyable d'arriver à placer un moment de danse dans les clips avec Daniel. Au milieu d'un emploi du temps très très serré, je suis arrivé un matin, je lui ai dit il faut absolument qu'on enregistre une danseuse et qu'on filme une danseuse.
Donc on est dans une session d'enregistrement où il y a 3 jours pour tout faire, ce qui est pas très large, on va dire, parce qu'il y a à la fois la musique et à la fois les clips. Et la journée de clips, c'était 5 clips dans la journée, donc c'est très serré. Et le matin, j'arrive et il y a une fille inconnue qui est là, donc je lui dis bonjour, enchanté. Ouais, à ce moment-là.
C'est la mocap actrice de Maelle dans le jeu, Charlotte.
Oui, c'est ça. Inconnue pour moi à ce moment-là. Et je lui dis enchanté, et elle me dit je suis la danseuse.
Whoa. What? 3 days. Okay, I gotta hold on. hold on. Just give me 1 second. But holy shit. Did you guys hear what he just said? 3 days, okay? 3 days of recording sessions and filming those music videos. But that's not the part that really just like blows my mind. They filmed 5 music videos in a single day. Are you f***ing kidding me right now? That is, that's insane. That is crazy. My mind is blown because 1 day to film 5 music videos, that's not a lot of time, guys. That's really not a lot. I would have to assume that they started early and that they finished really late. So, and if I'm not mistaken, Daniel Sicard, not only is he the director of this whole music video project, let's just say that, the whole orchestral sessions, but he also had to oversee the orchestral recording as well. So 2 of those days were dedicated to recording the instruments. I mean, my gosh, 1 day to film 5 music videos? Are you crazy? Are you guys insane? I've been part of a film crew for several music videos. They were called the chalet sessions. Basically, the idea was that we would invite Swiss music artists to have a recording session, like a live music video recording session in those chalets in Switzerland. So chalets are basically like these houses in the mountains, basically. That's all you really need to know. We've shot 3 music videos in a single day. The fact that they had to do 5, even then, like, we had to wake up really early, you know, like there's a whole process, you know. And I think that's why a lot of kudos goes to, you know, Daniel Sicard and his film crew. I've worked as a camera operator and a video and a production assistant on this at the chalet sessions, basically. And so the way it would go is that the director, first of all, the director had to prepare like a lot in advance, you know, and we're talking not only about just like, you know, creating the storyboard, translating the storyboard into a shot list. So shot list is basically like a list of shots that you want to make during that day, and also having kind of like having a call sheet and a schedule, you know, like you have to really, really prepare in advance, and you have to be super efficient with all those preparations, because if you encounter a single problem, it's going to delay the production and you'll have less time to complete your film shoots. Let's kind of all break it down, right? So if we have 5 music videos to be shot in a single day, that means they would have to show up super early, probably somewhere between, they would have to get up probably at around 4 a.m. and then be there by 5. And then, so usually for these music videos, you don't have everybody that normally should show up at the same time. We have what you call a call sheet, right? A call sheet is a sheet that has, you know, the names of people and specific roles and the times at which they show up. For example, the director has to be there from the start because he's the one that's overseeing the entire production, basically. Then normally you should have the gaffers, so the electricians, the guys who set up the light, who have to show up earlier, so that the lights can be set up. And you usually, like, you want to take a good like an hour, maybe 2 hours max, not more than that. I would say even like an hour is fine, but you never know what you may encounter, basically, because you have to set everything up. And then you have the camera operators that put the cameras in place. the Steadicam operators, they have to have had the chance to practice. For example, a camera operator, either he had the chance to rehearse with some of the musicians and even the dancer, which, to be honest with you, I kind of doubt it. I think he had to really do everything on the spot and just like adapt, like go with the flow, basically. It blows my mind. What 5 music videos? Like, gosh, they would have to be super strict with the schedule. So yeah, as I was saying, like, director has to show up, electricians have to show up to set up all the lighting and all the electric equipment. So not only just the lights, but any kind of like, the cables and to the power generators if needed and stuff like that. Then you have normally the camera operators that start setting up. I think they usually show up around the same time as the gaffers as well, just to set up the cameras. And then you have, and then in the meantime, you have production assistants. They have this sort of general role where they help set up the catering, like the food and stuff like that. When you're doing a film shoot, you do not have time for a lunch break. You're actually basically filming throughout the whole day. You are constantly on the move and you have constantly something to do. You have a schedule to stick to, like from morning to late in the nighttime. So that's why, like, you have maybe like at the back of the room or the space, you will have a table with all the food and all the drinks that you need, so that when you have a single moment to take a break, and I mean like a very, very microsecond break, you will kind of like go to the table and you'll grab something to eat or to drink, and then you'll get back to the film set, because this is ongoing. Okay, so as I was saying, you have usually the catering that is set up in the back, so that people can, grab something to eat and drink. And then normally, like probably around an hour after the gaffers and the camera operator, like the camera guys show up, you have the subjects or the actors that have to show up. So in this case, normally the musicians and the dancer. I would guess for the dancer, either she showed up at the start of the day or she showed up at the end of the day. Because in her music video, we do not see any musicians, basically. We see the guitar in the background, but we don't see any other instruments, no musicians. So that means that when she did her thing, the musicians were not there, or they weren't there anymore. This is me just speculating, but I would assume that the film shoot for this Maelle music video was probably the first music video that was shot. Namely because A, there are no musicians there, so they probably showed up later. And B, because I think by the time they started this music video, it would have to be like super early in the morning. And actors and actresses are, if they've worked on film sets, I would assume Charlotte has, they normally would have been used to waking up early and showing up on these film sets early. So I think it would kind of make sense to start with this music video and then continue on with the musicians who are not used to waking up so early for a music video. I think this music video probably was done in like 4 or 5 shots. They didn't do more than that. I think that they took maybe an hour to shoot, dedicated only to shooting this music video. Within that hour, basically the actress would, she would have had already her dance routine that she rehearsed. And then with the camera, they would like do some of these test shots to see how it looked. And then they would just basically pick the best shot out of all of them. So that's still like I said, when you do like what we call a master shot, where there's like no interruptions from beginning to end, you have to be like really good as a Steadicam operator to get that right from beginning to end. And it is not easy. You could see like some moments where like things can get easily out of focus. So I just find that insane. 5 music videos in a single day. Wow. Okay, so let's say this whole shoot took maybe like about 2-3 hours. Okay, so and let's say they started shooting from 6 a.m. until maybe 8 a.m., right? The musicians would start showing up probably around 8 a.m. at the end of the shoot, and then they would have to take at least an hour to set up for the next music video, and that includes setting up the chairs, putting the musicians there, changing the lighting, changing the cameras, adding more cameras if needed, changing lenses maybe even. Like there's a lot that goes on in this. And this is something I can now completely understand why Daniel Sicard said it was super hectic and it was super stressful, because as a director you have to stick to the time schedule. You have to stick to the schedule, otherwise you will not have time to shoot anything else. So yeah, I can understand like also the fact that he had to supervise the recording sessions of the instruments, which, by the way, if they use 2 days to record audio for the musicians, that means that in that single weekend, they recorded the musicians for the songs, for five of those songs, and then they would use that audio from the recording session for the music videos on the day of. Basically, that they would play that. I mean, what? It's just so insane. It is insane, guys. Like, look, guys, I cannot emphasize this enough. This production of all those music videos is insane. It is insane. And I wish people would appreciate that a lot more, because thanks to this Konbini interview, we now know that all of this was shot, all of this was done in 3 days, 2 days to record the audio of all the musicians, and that audio is used for shooting 5 of those music videos the day after. Do you guys understand how, oh my God, it is so much work. And I can understand if everybody who was involved in that production just basically took the Monday off. This was definitely done in a weekend. It was done on a weekend, guys. I would imagine Friday to Sunday. This is also because like renting equipment over the weekend tends to be a lot cheaper. That's the way it is here in Switzerland, at least. So I don't know if that's the case in France, but normally you wanna rent equipment over the weekend because it's way cheaper than during the weekdays, especially if you're working on a budget. But guys, like I cannot believe this. Like all the musicians were recorded during 2 days, and then the day after they shot all those 5 music videos using the recordings done from that recording session. Can you guys imagine the tight schedule that they were running? That's, oh my gosh. You know, like every time I am kind of like delving into this sort of stuff and I discover these sort of things, like it makes me appreciate all the more the people that were involved in this. Like I love these guys. I'm like, what? Oh, mais mon Dieu, c'est incroyable. Oh, j'adore cette équipe. Yeah, sorry, I kind of like, my mind is all over the place, but basically the structure is, yeah, basically you would have to consider that each music video probably would was allocated like maybe 2 to 3 hours to shoot, and you have to consider at least maybe 1 hour between each shoot. And that is if there weren't any technical difficulties. And this is again speculation, but when you're working on a film set, you do not never run into difficulties, any kind of technical difficulties, or you do not. You do not. There's always something that happens, and I think something did happen during that shoot. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's calculate this, right? 2 to 3 hours per music video, right? So that would mean we have 5 music videos, which are probably somewhere between 10 to 15 hours. Now include 1 hour at least between every shoot. That means the team had somewhere between 14 to 19 hours to film all this. They dedicated around that much time. This is really like in a very general sense. Some shoots might be faster, like the one-shot shoots, they might be a little bit faster. The others, like, I don't know, it really depends. It depends on the film crew and it depends on the director. And hearing all of this so far, I would say Daniel Sicard has a pretty damn awesome film crew. Like, wow. Okay, let's just get back to listening to the rest of this. I really, it's insane. It's insane.
C'est du jeu et de l'OST, on l'a compris très vite. On a tout en temps réel, donc le jour de la sortie, on a tous les joueurs qui ont explosé et nous on reçoit en temps réel tout ce qui se passe. Donc j'ai eu le compte Spotify où j'ai vu tous les gens arriver dessus et nos boîtes mail ont explosé et nos messages privés ont explosé aussi. Donc c'était vraiment en temps réel, on a vu que ça prenait et que les joueurs étaient avec nous, donc c'était un sentiment incroyable et très fort.
Moi j'ai pas du tout vu venir et c'est une surprise incroyable de me dire ah mais ok, en fait en septembre, projet que j'ai adoré, hein. À part ça, j'ai trouvé ça génial. On a participé à ce qui est peut-être un des jeux, enfin qui fait partie des jeux de l'année. Enfin, en fait, ça semble complètement irréel pour nous aussi. Je pense que personne n'a vraiment fait ce jeu-là en se disant ça va marcher, mais je pense qu'on s'est tous bien trouvés des gens qui ont qu'une envie, c'est de faire de la qualité, c'est d'offrir quelque chose aux gens. Moi, vraiment, j'ai eu cette sensation-là à l'enregistrement de me dire j'ai envie que notre expertise, qu'on travaille, ça profite au maximum à ces gens-là et sans se dire que derrière ça va devenir des stars. Je pense que personne n'a rien calculé et que c'est aussi pour ça que le
c'est
jeu
pas ce qu'on
a autant
cherchait,
marché.
quoi. Voilà. Chercher que ce soit de qualité ou intéressant.
Oui, c'est ça. On a tous cherché à faire de la qualité et à se donner au maximum et rien qu'à voir toi avec 5 ans de travail. Hallucinant.
Les Game Awards, ça serait un cadeau pour nous, mais c'est pas une fin. Ouais, c'est pas une fin en soi, c'est un cadeau si on nous offre le Game Award du jeu de l'année, de la musique de l'année et tout ce qu'il y a autour. Mais la récompense, on l'a déjà 1000 fois dépassée avec tous les joueurs et tout ce qu'on vit au quotidien.
Oh, these guys are so cool. They are so down to earth. And the fact that they really did not expect this success. Like, here's the thing, right? So, what I really love, this interview feels so genuine. Like, people that are just going about their daily lives, right? And they wanted to create like a passion project, but that had a lot of quality to it. It's not just like a passion project with quality, but it's also a project in which they were really challenged. And I think challenged quite a bit. I mean, when I think about like the music video shoots and the recording sessions that they had to do within 3 days, you'd have to be like super dedicated and you'd have to be super passionate and you'd have to, it's just so cool to see this. And can I just say something, guys, the fact that Lorien mentioned Video Game Awards, we can definitely expect a performance, guys. We can it's clear. It is crystal clear that there is going to be a performance at the Video Game Awards of a song or maybe some sort of medley from the Clair Obscur. Like, Lorien just dropped this bomb on us. Yes, there is definitely going to be a performance of the Clair Obscur soundtrack at the Video Game Awards. I'm betting Lorien and Alice are going to be there. And I'm hoping that Daniel will be somewhat involved. I'm saying somewhat because I do think that he'll do because he is an arranger and orchestrator and conductor and stuff like that. But knowing that the Video Game Awards has Lorne Balfe, I am hoping that he has a chance to at least collaborate with Lorne Balfe for the arrangement to basically bring that arrangement to the Video Game Awards. I really hope for him. He seems like such a cool guy, to be honest. This is so cool. Oh my gosh, I am so happy for these people. I don't know what the game is like, but the music is so cool and incredible and emotional, and the music videos are just so well filmed and well produced and well done and well edited for sure. So, so basically recap, guys, this has been such an incredible way to learn more behind the scenes stories regarding the music video production. Not as much as I would have wanted, but I'm hoping that, you know, with my experience and my background in filmmaking, you guys can understand why this music video orchestral sessions is not something that was easy to do, and sticking also to a tight schedule, basically. The fact that they had only 3 days to do all of this, to record basically the audio from these music videos and then to shoot those music videos, it's just like, it's just mind-blowing, guys. It is mind-blowing. Oh, wow. I'm sorry, like, wow. Wow. This is so insane. I get goosebumps from listening to the song, but I get so excited and thrilled about the idea that so much passion and so much dedication was going into this project that had to be, you know, fit within like a short time frame. Like, I just love this. I just love this. So, okay, so I think I better stop this right now. Otherwise, I'm going to go on several tangents as to why I love this whole music video project so much. The orchestral sessions project is so great, and I hope more people will take the time to appreciate not only just the audio, like not only the composition, not only the performances, but what actually went into producing these videos. Like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. This is so cool. Okay, so we arrived at the end of our reaction. So, guys, tell me, what did you think of this music video? What did you think about the process, the behind the scenes regarding those music video shoots? Yeah, I'm still just like, my mind is blown. Like, I love this team. They are so cool. They are so cool. Also want to let you guys know that that I am always looking for suggestions as to what to react to next. So if you guys want me to react to other video game music, let me know and I'll happily do that. So in any case, guys, as always, thank you all so much for sticking around, for hearing me ramble on about my appreciation for this soundtrack and the creative force behind it. And I will catch you in the next reaction video. Mwah. Bye, guys.